Metal Jesus here, and I'm back again talking about one of my favorite handhelds, and that is the Sony PSP. But instead of focusing on collecting games, I'm going to talk about something you just don't hear that much about, and that is the UMD movies that came out for the system. It's actually pretty interesting and pretty unique for the time, but it failed miserably. So I kind of want to ask the question, who the hell would want to collect these and why? Let's take a look. It's pretty obvious that Sony had big plans for their little UMD disc. Now, despite its size, for an optical disc, it actually could store quite a bit of data. You could put 1.8 gigabytes of stuff on here. You can see that Sony put some thought into making this format good for portable consumers, putting a plastic case over the disc to help protect it. You know, actually, now that I think about it, Sony had a lot of experience creating the mini disc as well. And just a decade earlier, Sony had quite a bit of success with the original CD-ROM and the PlayStation 1. So it makes sense that they would try to evolve this into their own thing again. The movie quality was actually pretty good for the time, having these movies encoded in 720 by 480 resolution. Remember, in 2005, very few people were watching movies on a cell phone. I certainly wasn't. And the PSP's biggest competitor was the Nintendo DS. And as awesome as the DS is, it just didn't have anything quite like this. This was pretty awesome for the time. Probably the closest thing that I had was a really crappy portable DVD player, but it wasn't the same. And to Sony's credit, they really pumped out a ton of stuff on this format. I mean, they certainly tried. There are comedies, sci-fi, dramas, action movies, there's live music, TV show, animated shows, Japanese anime, it just goes on and on and on. I mean, there are literally hundreds of UMDs out there. And what you're seeing here is my collection, which isn't very extensive. I mean, I think I have maybe about 30 of these things. And you know, I just keep the ones that I think are kind of interesting. The biggest downside to the UMD format, in my opinion, was the price. I don't know what Sony was thinking trying to charge $20 or $30 for this on the PSP when you could go and buy the same movie on the DVD format and get a ton of extras. Extra scenes, director's commentaries, different endings. I mean, it just didn't compare, and I don't know what they were thinking. Also, as extensive as the UMD library was, there was still a serious lack of the biggest movies on the format. For instance, there was no Star Wars, no Back to the Future, no Titanic, no Indiana Jones, not even some more recent movies like Lord of the Rings. And as a lot of portable gamers know, a spinning disc just kills battery life. That's something that has plagued the PSP both in movies and games for the first couple years. So the question remains, who the heck out there is collecting UMD movies? You know what I think? I think it's the same people who collect vinyl. I love collecting vinyl, but you can make the argument that, you know, with digital downloads and MP3 and FLAC, I mean, do you really need to collect vinyl? I think the answer is yes. And there are also people out there who still collect VHS, you know? This is a VHS that I've had forever, and I don't know, it's just sentimental to me, and there are people out there who like to do that. Also, UMDs have come way down in price. You can often find them for only $1 or $2, which is really awesome if you want to just jump in and get a bunch of them fairly cheap. Now, that said, there are some collectible UMDs out there, especially if you get into like the obscure Japanese anime. Some of those go for hundreds of dollars online. It's actually pretty crazy. So anyways, I'd love to know what you guys think about UMD movie collecting. Post a comment down below. As always, I want to thank you for watching my channel, and thanks for subscribing. Take care.